Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Twana James. I am your host, and you're listening to Black Fredericksburg Radio. In the studio today, one of the most inspiring, motivational people that you'll ever meet within the confines of Fredericksburg, Virginia. She goes by the name Coach T, and I don't even know how to introduce you. You're just the motivator. You are the motivator. Are you used to people giving you nicknames, Coach T?
I am actually, but lately it has been something around energy, energizing, motivating. So that's been interesting to hear a new title lately. I'll tell you that much.
A new title on top of all the ones that you have. Well, tell us, who is Coach T? What do you do?
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate the time. So I am a 100% disabled veteran turned full-time entrepreneur. And so today I am a speaker, I am a business strategist, a business coach, an author, and an energy amplifier, where I get the opportunity to just go into businesses and not only help them to scale their businesses or solve problems in their businesses, right, but also energize the whole atmosphere, the culture, bring it up 10x, right, and then cause people to want to be attracted to them.
So tell us about the type of things that you do, like the type of events. I know that you worked with the Fredericksburg Nationals because that's where I met you, and you're working with Black Fredericksburg Radio. But do you just work with any corporate entity? Like, tell us more about what you do.
Yeah, no, thank you for that question. So I specialize in corporate entities that either are directly affiliated with or indirectly have a mission tied to minority empowerment. And so for the Fredericksburg Nationals, their Fredericksburg Frog series were all about the 1919 to 1930s Negro team.
It was everything.
Yeah, frogs. And we loved it, right? And so they hired me specifically for that thing. And so most of the engagements and opportunities we see, it is 100% aimed to help to elevate our community.
Now, I know that you're not from Fredericksburg, but this is sort of like a second home to you. But where are you from? Tell us about who you are and where you came from. You just came out of nowhere and just took over Fredericksburg.
No, my gosh. So I'm actually from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
And I am, I've been here for a long time, in and out of Virginia. I graduated high school and I was on the next thing smoking, actually.
Out of New Orleans?
From New Orleans, man. I couldn't wait to get out, I'll be honest with you. And that's a part of my story. I actually grew up in foster care, and from the ages of 5 to 15, I was pretty much just in and out of foster care. So by the time I was in high school and had graduated, valedictorian of high school, I was ready to get out of there. And so Norfolk, Virginia, Old Dominion University, that's literally how I got to Virginia, going right there from New Orleans. And so Fredericksburg came shortly after that. A few years later, I gave birth to my son in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And so that's the reason why Fredericksburg is so near and dear to my heart, because, oh my gosh, that was exactly 20 years ago at this point that I gave birth to my baby. He was a Katrina baby. He was born October 11th. As you guys know, we're celebrating, I won't say celebrating, but
20
honoring 20 years of what happened there. I was big pregnant in the hospital right there down the road at Mary Washington with a 45-degree angle hospital bed because my son wanted to come out early and they were keeping him in. And so I went in August and didn't come out until October, until after he was born.
That is amazing. Physically looking at you, you'd never know that you were a disabled veteran, that you went through that giving birth or any of that. You are in tip-top shape.
Thank you. That was actually a part of survival. There were so many different things, obstacles and stuff like that I had to overcome, especially my military career and the injuries that came as a result of it. And so,
and thank you for your service.
Thank you, and thank you for yours.
Yes,
thank you for yours. I say who. And so that's intentional, right? I told myself, I was injured to the point where I had to learn to walk again without a cane, talk again without a slur. I still have seizures, and most of the time, 99% of the time, people won't see me without hat or glasses because I'm always protecting my eyes, and that's because of those injuries, the brain injury and things like that. And so everything I get to do today is just as a result of, just me completely walking into a whole different life. I had to completely pivot, and it all started right here. And so this was the very, very beginning of, this being my military career ending, it was the very, very beginning of my entrepreneurial career, and I haven't looked back since.
I'm sitting here just in awe of you, and you're just one of those people, you ever meet somebody, you're just like touched by them. Like you are such a motivator, and knowing that you've been through so much, you're an overcomer, if anything.
Thank you.
And is it just like your personal mission in life, just to motivate people everywhere you go? Because that's kind of what you do naturally.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, I'll be honest with you, sis, like, I'm going to say again, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, okay? If y'all hear me clapping, that's because I'm clapping, okay? Third Ward Projects, Melphamine, y'all know what it is. Master P, Lil Wayne, right? Dead bodies on the street every day when I come outside of the projects I was from, right? And that was as a 2, 3, 5, 7, 8-year-old kid, right? And so trauma, just completely desensitized to death, to pain, to hunger, so many things, right?
Things
and so
you saw daily.
Things I saw daily, right? Wow. And so for me, I grew up saying, listen, man, I will make sure that everything I see, I'm going to do the opposite of it. and that was honestly what brought me through. And so I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for who I am today. But I will tell you, the one main thought that has consistently ruled my consciousness for a very long time is, how can I make sure that I am presenting the best version of myself, and making sure that I always did that, even when, it wasn't the easiest.
Well, you're a high energy person. Where do you get all of this energy?
Oh, man. The energy part is easy. The energy part is because there was a point where I struggled with PTSD for 10 years, man. And I like to say now I thrive with PTSD. And that's because everything you see me doing outside, publicly facing, all of that is still not without its trials. I still have a lot of crowd sensitivities, and sometimes a lot of, challenges with just being concerned of if a certain flashing light will cause me a seizure in the middle of an event and things like that, right? And so, I try my best to just stay encouraged, stay empowered, and make sure that I'm always speaking positively into myself. And so I pour that into a room. I feel like personally I've accomplished way too much not to share this joy, and to show others how to accomplish some things, go through some things, and still have joy. It's a choice. Yeah. And when we choose it enough, it becomes a way of life.
Why do you think so many of us choose mediocrity? Because that's one thing I've noticed. You do not accept excuses.
Oh, man. So, I'm going to say this, right? I personally feel that there's an acceptance when you are aware that you are accepting something, and then there's an acceptance when you are not aware. And I feel like your question is more directly involved with that group that's not even aware that they're accepting those levels of mediocrity. It's not necessarily something that they've ever been stretched to know that they can go beyond. And so a lot of that has to do with environment. Like I said, where I grew up from, had I stayed in that environment, I don't know if I would have accepted a certain level of excellence in my life as well. Correct. And so because of that, I am, I'm convinced that, the environment definitely matters, right? And what you decide to do in or despite your environment. And so that's the first thing, which is I feel that you definitely have the opportunity to, change how you want to look at the world based on the viewpoint, the environment that you allow to rule. And sometimes that's our thoughts. Sometimes that's our physical environments, our families. Sometimes that's our friends.
Peers who we surround ourselves with.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And sometimes we don't even recognize, and it's our jobs too. And so check yourself. Right, a daily checking of yourself to make sure you're ready and you're aligned with, once again, that highest version of yourself at all times.
Now, not too long ago, a few months back, we had a shooting near this building where the radio station is housed. We have young people in this area. They were selling guns. 6 people were shot, all teenagers. 3 of them died. Having grown up in an environment maybe similar to that, what can we do as adults to encourage our youth to come out of that mindset? I know that's a hard question, but you coach T.
Yeah, man, that one took me. I didn't know that, as you know, I'm not local. But man, just hearing that, the first thing I think of is, oh my gosh, our babies, right? Going back to the environment, right? Going back to the environment that they're in. It's so important, man, to get them out of those environments, show them something different. Like I started this conversation saying, I grew up in foster care, and I'll be honest, I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, it wasn't until I got to foster care that I got to see something different than the projects that I grew up in, the hood, the violence, and everything that I grew up in. Here I was in Mississippi and in the suburbs, and going to school with white folks and black folks. That was something different for me. And it was the environment that changed me. And of course, some kids, they're not the people that can decide where they go,
because they're children,
because they're children. So what exactly are you saying, T? Right? And so first things first, what I'm saying is it's important for our children to know the environment within that they need in order to cultivate the best versions of themselves. And sometimes mom can't give them that, or dad or grandma, or even their friends, right? They've got to start to cultivate a better relationship. And so I feel like that is something that, the adults have a responsibility in helping with, right? Making sure that we give them different places as options to go, right? Both physically, so that they can change their external environment, so that they can be comfortable enough to learn a new internal environment, right? That's the first thing, right? The adults, we are responsible. Aunties, uncles,
yes,
we are responsible. The job is on us. Right. Like dedicate a Saturday to do nothing, and then that nothing is going into the hood and doing something. And so that's the first thing, and it's huge because we're the adults, and we are the example. Okay. And so for me, that was a major game changer for me. It was a big pivot. And for most people, they've been like, oh my gosh, you were in foster care. And I was, and there was not always the best experiences, but seeing different people, seeing different neighborhoods, areas, seeing different people have different aspirations for their lives. Yeah. I grew up, and the boys around my neighborhood and my family, they just wanted to become an adult.
Thinking that being an adult is easy.
No, they just wanted to live to adulthood. They wanted
to grow up,
They wanted to grow up. And so when you have something that is just that right there to your face, you're not even thinking about like your goals or graduating high school, or even, things
growing
you can...
old.
growing, right? You're not even thinking of growing. You're only in survival mode, right? Yeah. And most of the time, that's it. So when you, as an adult, you come to a kid and you say, hey, what are your goals? That's something they've probably never even considered, some of them,
Because they're just trying to survive.
Because survival is their mission, right? And so you can be so impactful by just making sure that you bring it down to their levels and let them know. And so many times we don't even know how much power we have.
You're bringing tears to my eyes right now. I'm getting kind of emotional. Coach T, you're a very inspirational person. Tell me something that you just don't do anymore. I know that you have to create boundaries for yourself, within yourself, around yourself. There are things that you, like I know you're vegan.
Yeah.
So there's things that you don't eat. I'm sure there are certain activities you don't participate in. Like you created an image of yourself in, I don't know, a lifestyle for yourself. Tell me about the difference between you now and you 10 years ago.
Oh, man. What year is this?
It's 2025. What were you doing in 2015?
Ooh, man. So,
that you aren't doing now.
Yeah, no. That's a really, really good one. So I was just going back into corporate. After having, really, really some challenges with PTSD and staying in the house all that time, like I told you. And so that inner work, that's been that 10 years. Okay. And so the thing that I'd say now, what I do and don't do, how did I get there? What was that journey, right? One of the first things I did was I gained a better relationship with myself internally. I created a program. It's called Elevate, and it's called Business and Mindset Transformation Bootcamp. It was something that I created on my own. I started to give away, eventually sell, and then sell a lot more packages and for a lot more money. And so it's something that literally helps you to just truly deprogram and reprogram your mind, right? Just really helping you to determine what is junk, what you don't need anymore, and what's going to help you to move forward. We're programmed so much by our environments, which is the reason why I continue to keep talking about that, right? The things we grew up around, the people, the ideologies, just because of, the limitations that they had. But we didn't know that. We just grew up thinking that was just the facts, right? And so we didn't challenge it or anything like that. And so now here we are, and everything that comes to our mind, we accept it as if it's a yes, and it's not. We don't challenge it anymore. And so that's the first thing that I do when I get up in the morning. I sit, I write. It's called a thought download, and I literally write everything that's going on in my head. Most of the time when I get up in the morning, I've got a little anxiety, to be honest with you. I'm thinking about my day. I'm thinking about if I got to go sit in traffic, or, okay, what's the best time to go do this drive, things like that, right? And so, no, that's the first time how are you feeling? That's the first question I ask myself. The moment I ask myself that, I've got to answer. Am I feeling anxiety? Am I excited? Am I sad? And then the question, well, why, right? The why is going to tell you what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. And most of the time we usually just start with the feel, and we don't go back to why we're thinking that, what we're thinking. We don't
process that energy.
Exactly.
We just hold on to it.
Exactly.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. And so that's one of the first things I do in the morning. I really try my best to eliminate the things that are just, it's fake news, baby. It's fake news, right?
Purge.
Yeah, let's get it out of there, right? The anxiety that's attached to this traffic, baby, you ain't even going to be in traffic because you're going to leave at 1:30, right? You got to be there at 5. Just leave at 1:30, right? And so I can eliminate some of these things in the morning, take a deep breath, and keep moving, right? I love to exercise. That's another thing. So hopefully y'all got
obvious
that.
You I wish I loved to exercise.
Man, but yeah, I think I took that from the military and just kept it going. But even before that, just always an athlete and stuff. But there was a time that I couldn't. Like I said, I had to learn to walk again and talk again. I had a lot of broken bones.
Would never know that looking at you.
Thank you. And so there was a time I couldn't. And so now I think it's even a greater appreciation. I go into the gym grateful. It's one of those, man, I'm so glad I can use my legs again. I'm so glad I can lift again, and so it really is a powerful time for me. And I think that's the reason why I enjoy it so much. I get a lot of benefits from it. A third thing that I've done, like you said, is let me go back. The gym. I don't go to the gym every day. Most people think I do. I don't. I usually do about 3 to 4 times a week, right? And I usually only do like heavy stuff about once or twice a week. And so it really is a mixture. I'm in my 40s, and so ain't nobody trying to lift the gym or nothing. I'm just trying to, just stay and maintain and things like that. I love the sauna. It helps the skin, the blood circulation, the flow, and all this stuff. And so there you go. I'll leave that there. And then veganism. I've been vegan about 6 years now, going on 7.
Was there a turning point? Was there something specific that made you go vegan?
The doctor.
Really?
The doctors just suggested at the time that we live healthier lives. I had a lot of, challenges, medical challenges, seizures and things as a result of the brain injury, some balance challenges, a lot of inflammation and things like that in the knee. I had a couple knee surgeries and stuff. And so it was just a suggestion initially to just give your body a break, right? Back in the day, grandma, you get sick at grandma's house, said, baby, you need to stop eating all that food. You go on that brat diet. We just need a few little things in your body. Let's just get your strength up.
Right.
It's very similar. And so the doctor suggested that to just kind of help me to just kind of get a break, right?
Yeah.
Get a break. I was having a lot of seizures and things, and it worked. And I hadn't turned back since, right?
Because you felt so much better, I'm sure.
Immediately. Within weeks, right? Within weeks, I felt a lot better. I had a lot more energy. I was a lot more calm. I was able to have a lot more calm conversations where I wasn't trying to rush it because of my own feelings of whatever, right? And so I noticed so many things. I got more spiritually grounded. I noticed that. I definitely got a lot more patient. More importantly, I lost so much weight. I probably lost let me see. It was 2019, 2018, 2019. And at the time I was probably weighing about 160, something like that. And, nowadays I staying around in the 140 range. And so I lost all that weight around that time, And so it was a drastic change to my body, to my mindset, and to my energy levels. It was something I was hooked on. And then after that, I almost couldn't go back because I would get sick every time I tried. So I was just like, well, forget this.
Yeah.
So that's 3. Number 4, boundaries. Hello. That's a big one. That's a big one. And I'm still in the process of learning that, I'll be honest with you. I personally feel like every time you grow, scale, expand, you've got a new set of boundaries to execute, incorporate, and communicate effectively. And when you don't do that, it's problems. But, and so I'm definitely learning that. But as I have continued to just make sure that I communicate effectively what I needed, making sure that I say, hey, I'm not going to be available for that and things like that.
It's okay to say no.
Girl.
It's okay. Girl. It's a full sentence.
It's a whole full sentence and a period, okay? And there's periods. There's points where you want to be in your season of yes, right? And even in your season of yes, like right now. Right now I'm in my season of yes, okay? Just giving you an example. But even in your season of yes, you've got to schedule, right? You've got to actually have some scheduled breaks so that you don't break. And
rest with intention.
Yes.
Why do we feel so guilty about resting, taking time off, especially as Black women?
I think that has a lot to do with, just everyone telling us that we just weren't good enough and we had to be twice and 3 times good as someone else or than someone else. And so for us, if that's the case, then we definitely don't want to rest because then we surely will be behind the 8 ball, And so I feel like it's a mindset thing, which is the reason why that was my number one, right? Take care of that mindset. Listen, the train does not move without the engine, baby. And your mindset, your brain, how your repeated habits, your behaviors, your identity, how you identify yourself, the things that you say, I do, right? It matters. And it is the engine, okay? And so you've got to take care of that.
So for those of us who are feeling stuck, maybe professionally, maybe in our personal lives, what's the one thing we should change?
Change your thoughts. Change your relationship with your thoughts. Okay. If you're feeling stuck and you're asking me what's one thing to change, if I'm feeling stuck and I start to think I'm stuck, then I'm telling you to change that thought and say, well, why do I think I'm stuck? Just start to ask questions, challenge the thought. Because if you say you're stuck and then you just allow it, then now we've agreed that we're all stuck. And what if it wasn't true? What if you just needed another way to think about it? And so that's the one thing that I'll say to you, sweetie. Like, you got to make sure that you're always thinking, how do I keep going, right? And so stuck is a word that you need to just get the heck out of your vocabulary, right? You're Army, I'm Army, so I know you know the same thing. Like, there is no such thing as a door. Right? Yeah. There's a wall to break through. And so if you see a door, that's really nice. That means that it was easy for you. But if you see a wall without a door, you don't go back home saying you didn't see a door. Right? You go get some freaking explosives.
Yeah.
And you blow through the wall.
That's right. Hua hua.
I say hua.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to add? I could talk to you for hours because I just want to ask you about so many things. But what do you want the public to know? What would you like to say to Fredericksburg? Because we're listening.
Fredericksburg, Virginia, man, we appreciate you. I appreciate you. This has been when I say this period of time that I'm in, where I've just had so many opportunities to just love on the folks of Fredericksburg. It's been a true dream, and I'm still doing it, guys. I'm still doing it. So one of the biggest things that I've got going on right now is I just so happen to be the campaign amplifier and assistant to Sheriff Cowles, and we want you guys to come out November 4th, man. We're doing so many things in the community right now, and Rashawn Cowles needs you. I need to make sure that you know that not only is he going for sheriff, but he is the first Black man to do it, people.
Yeah.
And I get the opportunity to amplify his whole entire campaign, and I need you guys in there with me, man. So it's one of my favorite things to do right now because all I get to do is be myself, amplify the energy, and make sure people like you know that there's someone that's right here waiting to be a leader for you, and we need you to pull up, show up, and bring a friend, baby.
That's right. And if you haven't registered to vote, do it now.
Yes, early voting is right now, baby. We need you.
That's right. Well, Coach T, it is always an honor, always a pleasure to be in your presence. You keep me motivated, keep me on my toes. I have to look at myself sometimes when I'm around you because I got to make sure that I'm absorbing that energy. I'm an introvert, and you pull me out of that every time.
I'll take that. Hey, listen, we all got both sides because I promise you, I'm not the extrovert most people think. I'm ambiverted all day long. As soon as I leave you guys hyping you up, I'm asleep for 3 days.
I can see why. because you put out a lot of energy. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to have you back here on Black Fredericksburg Radio for more motivation.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Peace.